Good morning, thriving warriors and those who wish they were. Alexa, good morning.
It's Saturday, September 3rd. The time is 6:21 a.m. Currently, in Pahrump it's 79 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly clear skies. Today, you can expect some sun and thunderstorms, with a high of 106 degrees and a low of 79 degrees. By the way, there's an excessive heat warning in effect until Tuesday, September 6th, 8 p.m.
Aha. Okay, so good morning. This is Thriving Warrior Career Services, where our job is to help you get from point A to point B, from where you are to someplace better. We do that many ways. One way we do that is through these daily morning, quick, short, 10-minute-ish type, but not really, podcasts. Another way we do it is through our courses, our basic training course, which now has a link in the notes down below. Please subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, etc., etc. We're 1 minute and 30 seconds into this already, so let's get started. Oh, notes. We are planning to fill the lake next Saturday and Sunday. We are going to have a barbecue out there in Amargosa. All are welcome, all are invited, all are kind of expected to give a little bit of payback for the stuff that we have done and are doing, continuing to do for you. And this is an opportunity to demonstrate that you want to be in the team. Good morning, Bells. Bells? Is Bells there? Okay. Can't tell. All right. So, let's see, where are we with our TED Talk? David Foster Wallace is today. This is water. You might have to watch this several times. The more times you watch it, the more you're going to get out of it. The basic thing is to understand the concept of your default setting, and that we all have the ability to change our default setting, who we believe we are, or the things that we just automatically do. Everybody believes in something. Figure out what it is you believe in, because our self-identity is simply made up of our self-beliefs. Change your beliefs, change your identity. That's David Foster Wallace. We've got our TED Talk, or Seth Godin. It's pretty long today. Cultural distress and consumerism. Okay, and let's talk about embracing the suck. Embracing the suck. Yes, life is hard. The only reason anybody's watching this is because life is hard. If life wasn't hard, there's no reason to be up at 6:30 in the morning or care about this, because it wouldn't even make any sense. It would be like a different language. So life is hard. What can we do from it? Try to avoid it or embrace it. It's kind of how we look at it, right? If you look at something that's hard as bad, you're not going to want to do it. If you look at something hard as a challenge that once accomplished leads to something better. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Diana. Okay, if you look at something that's hard as a challenge that makes you better, guess what you're going to do? You're naturally going to go after doing the thing that makes you better. So we could do that, embrace the suck. Try it today. Just try today do something you don't want to do and then embrace it. Like, wow, this really sucks, but I'm going to look at the suck. I'm going to think of all of the people who wish they were in this position. I'm going to get that this too shall pass. And then if I can do it, it's just another accomplishment, another thing that I have achieved. So that is that. I also have some notes here from today's video. Believe in yourself. When somebody judges you now, you can say, don't judge me now. I'm not done. Don't judge me prematurely. Let me get this thing finished. I'm still a work in progress. I am not done here. So don't judge me now. Since we're talking about David Foster Wallace, or I was earlier, there is a quote from Nancy Kane, Professor Nancy Kane, who is a supporter / believer in what we do. She's donated about 250 books and sent emails. And she talks about David Foster Wallace's definition of what is a real leader. And it's something we can aspire to be. Real leaders are people who help us overcome the limitations of our own laziness and selfishness and weakness and fear and get us to do better, harder things than we can do on our own. So real leaders, let's break that down. Real leaders are people. My watch is not a leader, even though my watch can help me overcome the limitations of my laziness and selfishness and weakness and fear. A real leader has to be a person. It's a person who helps us overcome the limitations of our own laziness, selfishness, weakness, and fear. So a leader helps us overcome those things and gets us to do better, harder, more important things than we can do on our own. Is a leader supposed to be nice? Is there anything in there about nice? No. Anything in there about being your pal, your buddy? No. It's getting you to be better than you are. Along those lines, last night we had to get rid of somebody who was day 3, had to drop the person because they were not really committed to their success. And that is a thing that we will always do, is people who are not committed to their success, are not willing to do things, they can't stay. Okay. What is next? We're only at 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Something is missing. Oh, Seth Godin. Here we go. Cultural distress and consumerism. For decades, marketers and politicians have been working to amplify cultural distress, a hack on our emotions. Not the tragic emotional distress of being unable to care for your kid, find a place to live, or deal with trauma, but the invented cultural distress of modern industrialized societies. This is the easily credited shame of not having a new suit to wear to the garden party, or having to use an old model smartphone instead of the new one. It's the dissatisfaction of knowing that something better is available, and the invented discontent that comes from the peer pressure of being left out or left behind. Or it might be the social shame that comes from not having a big enough presence on social media, or the FOMO that watching other people presenting nothing but happiness online can create. Or the FOMO. I don't know what FOMO means. Or the FOMO that watching other people presenting nothing but happiness online can create. It can be amplified with a sort of nostalgia for old times when everything was perfect, or anxiety about a future when we imagine we won't have enough. Fear of this sort of cultural distress pushes us to simply spend money to avoid it. It's easier to lose your life savings and peace of mind to end-of-life care than it is to simply draft a living will. It's easier to lose your life savings and peace of mind to end-of-life care than it is simply to draft a living will. It's easier to give in to the high-pressure tactics of a real estate broker than it is to look squarely at the feelings that you might not actually get this particular house. Making a budget is hard. Paying for not making one is easy. It turns out that selling an easy and convenient way to avoid social pain is a nearly boundless formula for corporate growth. And so people with a lot of resources are still unhappy because they succumb to invented narratives about cultural distress. And then, once they buy something to avoid it, discover it's still there. Marathon runners don't complain about the tired because getting tired is a necessary component of a well-run race. And human beings are always going to find moments of cultural distress. And it's up to each of us to decide what to trade in the short run and the long run to deal with it. Perhaps it makes sense simply to acknowledge that it's present. Okay, thank you, Seth Godin. Thank you for that. That was long, but it was good. And it is down below for people who want to read it. So we are at 12 minutes into this. It's time for that. Bingo, bongo, bango. Whoosh, badminton. It's time for yesterday was the only easy day. Today I will be out preparing to fill the lake next weekend. So there are weeds that need to be pulled out and other debris that is in the lake bed. And it will supposedly take about a week to fill the lake. Cool, but it's going to be so great once it's done. Yesterday was the only easy day. Push yourself a little harder today. Correct, Diana. Thank you. Good job. Anticipating what I was going to say. It's working. Okay. All right. So yesterday was the only easy day. Embrace the suck. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and be more samurai. Or if you're bells, be more Chinese. What? Okay, that's where we are, everyone. So push yourself a little bit harder today, be more samurai. And at 13:34, I will say cut. Cut, cut,